Perfect. Great. So I'll quickly share my screen, just setting up some things. Right. Second.
Bhakti?
Just going to mute everyone. Okay, Raheem, make sure to unmute yourself. Okay, great. Wow. Somebody can tell me if you can see my screen? Yeah,
Yes, it's clear.
thank you. Welcome, friends. Welcome back to another meetup of Microsoft Excel Power Platform for Saudi Arabia. One place in finite solutions where you can connect, learn, share. And today we have a great guest over here, all the way from Pakistan, Mr. Raheem Zulfikar. Raheem Zulfikar will be showing us some amazing tricks on Power BI about tracking and monitoring some metrics and financial. I'll be really interested to see what he has today. But before that, I'll just quickly let you know who I am and what we do exactly. Well, I'm Faraz Sheikh. I'm Microsoft certified trainer. I'm a founder of excelexciting.com. I'm a Microsoft Innovative Educator, Office Master. I write blogs on Excel, Power Automate, and I love doing automations. That's the thing. I love doing that. And I run meetup for Saudi Arabia, and uh, and our mission is to help the people just by providing them the easiest solution. So that's quick intro about me. If you like to connect with me, you can connect me on my uh, Twitter account, Facebook, and YouTube, and I'll be available over there. Great. So just quickly sharing you, if you're first time over here, coming here, and if you might have missed out our past events, then you can just scan this QR code and you can connect to these great events which has took in the past, where Ken, Gasper, Oz, Alan, they have showed us some great uh, tips and tricks and some amazing stuff in Excel. And by the way, we have some amazing events also coming ahead. So make sure, my friends, that you register for them. On 18th May, Oakley will be showing tips and tricks with Excel macro, where he will show us that how to work smart, not hard. So I'll be really excited to see what he has over there because I'm sure that would be related to automations and some macros and some great stuff. And then we have Miss Tanya. Tanya is an trainer. She's a LinkedIn trainer, and she's the first German lady who is speaking, who's publishing the videos on Power Query on LinkedIn Learning. And she's regularly speaking in some major Excel events in Switzerland and Germany. And Power Query is her passion. So she's going to show us something about parameters in Power Query and how to store them and what are the best ways to use it, how to create the paths. So there are some interesting stuff is coming up down the line. And if you'd like to join that, make sure that you scan this QR code or this short link. You can go and you can connect to our meetups. So if anybody here and he would like to share his knowledge to the community and share his superhero skills and help the community by showing us some amazing tips about Excel, Power Platform, Azure, anything, like to speak up on this meetup, then I would encourage you that you please come forward and send me an email. You can write me back on excelexciting@outlook.com. So I'll get back to you. Then we can schedule up an event. And just a quick note, and I know everybody is aware about this, But just briefing it up again, that just keep your mic mute. If you are facing any difficulty in joining the session, then make sure that you disconnect and rejoin it. And I would leave the question box to Raheem how he would like to take it, whether in chat or or he would like people to speak in between. How would you like to take it, Raheem?
Uh, Preferably at the end of the session.
No problem. So feel free to put it in the chat. Is going to look all your questions and just make sure that when you're writing the question, just mention Q so he can easily identify that's a question, So now coming to our hero for today, Raheem Zulfikar, the most eligible bachelor in Excel community we have from Pakistan. And Raheem will be talking about what he's going to present. And by the way, I'll just give you a short introduction about Raheem. He's CEO for Excel Basement Limited and coach for Power BI, and even he's a consultant on giving on Excel and Power BI. I've seen his work. He has some amazing work he has done. Hi, when where we have met in Excel, we had took some pictures, and you can see Raheem over here in the corner, and we were having dinner at the yacht. This was organized by the MCT Summit organizer. Leave the floor to Raheem now, so Raheem can tell about himself more, and then he can take off the stage. Raheem, all for you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for us. Let me share my screen.
Let me quickly stop sharing it first. I think. You can,
For us, if you can confirm me, if you can see the slides on the screen.
yes,
Of
we can see the slide, and we
Okay.
can hear you loud and clear.
Good afternoon. So wherever you have joined from any countries for giving me this platform and an opportunity to present about for us, can you give me a quick confirmation?
Yes, yes, it
Yes,
is
yes,
clear.
Raheem, we can see your screen. Yes, Raheem.
Okay, okay, sure.
Sorry, I was
Thanks.
muted. I was speaking to
All right.
myself.
So about me, basically, I'm Microsoft certified trainer from 2016 till yet. So it's been 5 years private limited in Pakistan, where me and my teams are looking of Microsoft Ignite event in Dubai, and and this is related to the Pakistan Excel conference, where we initiated conferences and bring the corporate people together so we can share. So many people around the globe has been connected through digital platforms, and it's a very good opportunity to meet everyone digitally. But I hope that things get normalized and we get back to a new normal where we can have some physical sessions as well in future. So as Faraz assured you earlier that we met in Dubai when we have the MCT summit in the Middle East, and we have a lot of good time, and we shared some good thoughts and ideas, and that's what we are still here for the community and helping.
I don't know. I wear specs, Raheem.
Yeah. So it's about a collaboration of Excel exciting and Excel basement. I hope that Oz should join, so it would be more Excel on fire. Right. All right. So let's proceed towards the agenda for a session. Uh, I would like to start with the fundamentals, and then I will move towards creating one of the financial dashboard in Microsoft Power BI. And there is one new thing which I am starting from this platform, from Faraz platform. Excel is exciting, and I think this might be a benchmark for the next trainers or the speakers to come on platforms like these, that I have bring one good challenge for the participants. because every time we register for a webinar, some people's show in and some people's don't, and they watch the recording later on the YouTube or a Facebook. But this time I thought that why not to do a two-way communication where I also like to show a challenge to the audience, and they could come up with a solution later on after the session, and they can post their solutions on the comment on either they are watching on the YouTube. So don't worry, I will share the presentation with Faraz, and Faraz will circulate that content, presentation and practice files with all the participants, either they are watching it live or afterwards. So the agenda of session is that I will start with introduction to data analytics, because before we directly jump to the Power BI, it's very important to know about the data analytics. And then some few concepts, advanced concepts about the data analytics, how to get start with Power BI, because it's depends on the perception of a user. And every time when I speak or do some conversations with a professional, so they start comparing this business intelligence application with others platforms like Tableau or Click. So why you want to use Power BI and why you don't want to use the other applications. So it's very important how you get started, how these applications will solve your key business issues or challenges which you are facing in the organization. And then we will create a financial dashboard in Power BI, and we will look at the features available in Power BI. And this is one of the key, you can say, a spice up point of today's session, that is the case study. So I will be sharing one practical real-time financial report with you, that is the management information system, a financial report. And this is a challenge for you. I will not solve it, but you have to solve it after the session, and you have to provide the solutions to the Faraz, or you can go to his YouTube channel and write in the comment the solution which you draw. And the solution is related to the Power Query, and that would be exciting at how many of you would really solve this challenge, right? So this is the benchmark which I am setting in today's session. Not just a speaker would speak for long 1 hour or 2 hours, but it's now the audience should be basically encouraged and motivated and should participate in these kind of sessions, online sessions, right? uh, One of my webinars key point is that I always like to appreciate, and I like to share resources other than mine. I love to give my audience, my members or visitors, not just to follow one or two platforms, but whatever the good information available regarding the Power BI, I love to share those learning resources. Either they are free or paid or whatever you would like to have. That makes you more capable of applying and solving those challenges on the applications, either it's Excel or BI. So learning resources are very important. And I will share that what kind of learning resources you need to follow after the session as well. And in the last, I would like to take your question and answer this question, basically the questions, if you have any, so you can write in the chat. Or for example, if I miss any question, so don't worry, you can just write or give your question to Faraz, and later on we will try to resolve them in much detail. But I would like to request that the questions should be related to the webinar topic, because the Power BI itself is an entire huge application. There are so many aspects available. So it's very difficult to cover each and every aspect. So I would like to make sure that I can satisfy with your to your queries, right? Okay. So so if you would like to connect with me, you can visit our blog. Uh, you can visit our blog. You are welcome to add me on LinkedIn, Facebook. You can follow our channel on YouTube, that is Excel Basement. And you can also find us on Twitter as well. We are also on Instagram as well. All right, so we will create this dashboard today in Microsoft Power BI, and this is very easy. And we will very quickly create this dashboard. So I will fetch the data from website, and I will show you that what are key steps to follow and how to draw these visuals in Power BI. Okay. All right, so let's start with the introduction of data analytics, and then we will proceed to the advanced concept of data analytics. So what is data? So data is unrecognized information that is processed to make it meaningful. Generally, data comprises of facts, observations, perceptions, numbers, characters, symbols, images that can be interpreted to drive meaning. Now, this is a very simple definition about the data. And I hope that the participants who are watching it live, or the ones who will be watching it later on, know about the data, because data is not just facts and observations. It can be anything coming from different various sources, which basically turns into the information, and then put interpretation into a meaning for that, right? And basically we need to make a decision. So definitely data is important. And you have heard about that data is the new oil. So data is important. So data analytics, if we see, data analytics is the science of analyzing raw data in order to make conclusions about that information. So as I told you, that the importance of data analytics is significantly increasing in the organization. So far, I hope that participants can observe around their office working environment that a lot of jobs now being available as in data analyst or business analyst, even with respect to more advanced levels, so data engineers and data scientists. So these kind of fields are coming in, and a Power BI, which is a business intelligence tool, uh, we need a lot of data analyst and business analyst to become a good uh, way of showing the data into the storytelling, right? So that's very important. Another in very simple definition about the data analysis is a process of inspecting, cleansing, transforming, and modeling data with the goal of discovery useful information, informing conclusions, and supporting decisions making. So this definition is being taken from the Wikipedia, right? Okay, so now there is a discussion that why do we need data analytics? So I would like to have some of your feedback in the chat window. You can write it down. So there could be a short discussion about why do we need data analytics? What is the need of the data analytics? What the organizations are trying to do, hiring so many data analytics and business analytics, what is the main purpose or a goal of the organizations in the current time to analyze that? So any one of you who can just write in the chat window analytics. So we have some comments here. Bharat Mehta is saying to get insights of data. For us says to make business decisions. Oakley is saying data analysis informs business decisions. Very good. Jayant Joshi, to interpret the figures and facts. So we can say that for have making a decisions, having some interpretations from the data. Amrit is saying convert data into meaningful visuals to read them easily to take decisions. Okay. Faraz Iqbal says to give more meaning and perspective to the data. Very good. So almost all the answers are very very right. It's a need of a time, right? And for forecasting purpose, definitely for time series analysis, definitely we can do different kind of analysis with once we have the data. And you know that one of the most painful point for a user is that you will not always get the clean data. You will not always get the clean data. You have to go with some of the pain areas. If you are an Excel user, you have to apply a lot of text functions to clean that data. You will be having a lot of outliers or missing values and syntax errors, right? So we can understand as a user, because we have been using Excel for a last long years, and now we are using Power BI. So whatever we got the data, we also need to consider about the data modeling aspects. A lot of users lacks in that. They don't understand the data modeling, whereas it's very significant to understand the data modeling is very important part, because the way you work in Excel, you will not work same around in Power BI or any other business intelligence applications, because in Excel you can refer to any cell, you can delete any column very easily, you can create some custom visuals in form of charts, and you can insert whatever you would like to have in Excel. But in Power BI, you first have a mindset of a data analyst, where you understand different kind of schemas, relationships, and then data building concepts and data modeling behind that. So that's why it's very different. But let's come to the topic that why we need to have that data analytics. So we know that with the passage of time, now the organizations are creating more and more data. So we heard a term that is called big data these days, and we know that there are so many different definitions about the big data is. And now the organizations are not on online or on mobile, but as well as they are using the digital marketing to capture the customers. So they have now different strategies. They are getting data in a different formats, right? Through YouTube, through Facebook channels, through polls, through many different things, right? So for data analytics, the first thing is that with the passage of time, we can see the increase in a volume. So the volume of today's organization with respect to the data is being increasingly than ever before. So we all accept about the volume, right? Then the velocity. So the velocity is that the process which we use in our organizations with respect to the globalization and technological advancements, and the speed of you just click in one application and your transaction has been created within 1 or 2 seconds. So the speed, that accelerating rate is being now increasing. The customer wants their solution within 5 minutes. So we know that the data is being increasing. We know we want that velocity. And then the variety. So increasing number of sources of data being identified and captured and stored from a growing number of sources. So as I told you, that data is coming from different sources in a different variety of forms. So how we can get all that data together and make sure that it is being transformed and cleaned and then getting into the business intelligence application to make some dashboard, that's very important. So that's why we need a big teams now in organizations where we have some data analyst, business analyst, data scientists. So they all work as in an ecosystem of data storytelling part. Okay. The last point is the veracity, which is the quality of the data. As I told you that when you get the data, and with the increasing number of data sources, the main challenge is to determine the accuracy of the data, right? So these are 4 points which challenge the big data, and for that reasons we need data analytics. That's why it's very important. Okay, so factors to consider when selecting your tool. This is again a debatable point, because whenever I discuss with some professionals about what kind of application you would like to implement with respect to BI, so they see the cost, they see the pricing of that, they see the subscription model of that application. They observe that either it's the software is free or paid version. If we go for a large number of licenses, so how many cost we need to bear upon, or what kind of visualization features are available in that with respect to the Excel, and they start comparing that. But the important point to understand is that first you need to identify the problem, and you need to solve that problem by using a specific best tool which is best fit, which is the contingency approach. So every time, not the Excel or a Power BI or Tableau or any other application will be best fit for you, or it does not a kind of a perception that whatever the application is very much popular, you should go with that. No, that's not the case. For example, if Power BI is very much popular, and the other application is not popular, we can't give a final decision that you need to use every time a Power BI or Excel. It's depend with the application, with the of a user and the organization, that a challenge which they are facing, a problem which they are facing, which kind of best application can solve it. Sometimes it could be Excel, because I have observed in a lot of organizations they use Excel all the time. So their key challenges can be easily solved in Excel, so they will definitely not switch to the other application. So there are some factors we need to consider. Not every time the popularity of the application or free or paid versions, we compare it in a different way, but that's not the case. The first thing is we need to highlight the business objectives. For example, if I want to apply Power BI in my case in my organization, so I need to consider that either application will solve my business objective or not. Either they will give me that problem solution or not, or the analytics will provide clarity or not for doing that. Okay, then we have the interface and visualizations. And as we know that we all use Microsoft applications, so we know that every time Microsoft build their application with very easy graphical user interface, so that every user can get familiar in very less time. So we know that as compared to Microsoft with other platforms, Microsoft always try to come up with a good GUI, interface and visualizations, right? Advanced analytics. So definitely the business would like to address all those analytics, which is not very much possible in Excel, and they will look after that if they can be done in Power BI or not. Integration, the level of integration, what are those steps or the challenges would be coming when we will be implementing that application. Multiple sources of data is supported or not. For example, if my organization is using SAP HANA or S4, so either the API or a connector is available with the Power BI, so that I can connect directly with the SAP, or there is a connector of Oracle is available, or any other social media platform just like Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn is available or not. Can I get the data from a website? So this kind of multiple sources are available in BI. If the answer is yes, definitely the user will prefer that application, right? And then the customization, definitely the customization is very important. As an Excel user, we know that we can do a lot of customizations very easily. But as I told you that there might be some limitations with respect to the business intelligence applications, because it's still getting pretty much mature with the passage of time, because Power BI is just 5 years old. So this is the sixth year for the Power BI, whereas Excel is being for last 35 plus years. But Excel is Power BI is 5 years old, and we know that every month a lot of developments has been done by the Microsoft, and every month a new desktop version of Power BI gets released. So definitely they are hearing the request by the users, by the industry professionals, so that new features are being coming up in Power BI with the passage of time. So I can recall that when I used to teach Power BI last 3 years back, I used to face a lot of challenges with respect to the formatting of the visuals, or for getting the data, and very much error messages. But with the passage of time, I can see in 2021 now the Power BI is very much mature tool, and it's a part of Power Platform, which creates a good ecosystem if you integrate the Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI together. So yes, organizations looks for the customization. And the last point, the main point, is the security. Security is very much important considerations, because we know that most of the organizations has been gone digitalized in 2020 and 2021 and onwards. So a lot of attacks can be done if this can be done, like if you want to upload on the data on your on premises, or you want to upload on cloud. So definitely the organizations, the board of directors are very much concerned about their data integrity and security as well, right? Okay, so these were the factors to consider when selecting your tool. These are some of the points. There can be more points, definitely. So the data analysis process, there are 6 steps for the data analysis process. The first one is the understanding the problem and desired result, and that's very important. what user is doing. And I laugh every time when I go in the organizations and I observe from the users. They say that, Raheem, whatever we are doing in Excel, we want that replica. And I keep laughing at that point, because see, the Power BI has not come in a substitute of Excel. You need to understand that Excel is different, whereas Power BI is different. So people don't have problem, but what they do, whatever they are doing in Excel, they just want to do the same thing in Power BI, and they are not aware that what their dashboards will be look like, and they are just creating some column charts and line charts and basic charts, and they are saying that it's a dashboard. So they have no other relativity with respect to the designing rules and another part. But the first primary thing is that a user must understand what is the problem. Okay, so once you understand your problem and your objective for analysis, then you can move towards the next step. So the next step is setting a clear metric. So what you are going to measure, what kind of analytics you want to do. You want to, if you are doing some analysis regarding the headcount data set, so what are those important KPIs you are looking for, and then on top of that, how you will be making a decisions. So, and another example, if you're having some financial information and you are putting it into a Power BI, so what kind of those key performance indicators you would like to have in the dashboard. So setting a clear metrics is very important. Not just whatever you were doing in Excel, you are just replica or making a replica of that in Power BI, right? Okay, the next part, gathering the data. And that's very important, that how you gather the data, and what kind of information you need, and you either you need all the information which is coming from the different platforms. It's a time consuming activity. Gathering a data, it's not an easy task. Definitely we need some data engineers to make the pipelines smooth, to bring the data from different platforms, or the data is in cloud. So we need a definite strategy that how the data will become and what will be the time period. Either you need to fetch the data from the server on weekly basis, on daily basis, or monthly basis. So what would be that? So we need a certain strategy. Otherwise you will get into the technical side, that the data is not coming or it's giving an error, right? So should be an absolute strategy. Then once you get the data, you definitely you need to fix that data quality. And most of the time will go in cleaning up the data. And as we know that, as an Excel user, you have the tool which is called Power Query in Excel, and that's an awesome tool. Faraz has some very good videos on his channel regarding the Power Query, and I have also compiled some good YouTube channels as well. I will show you. So in Power BI, definitely we have the Power Query, which makes the transformation of the data sets, and that's where we need to invest our time to learn that certain tool as well. So the Power Pivot in Excel and Power Query, which are both available in Power BI as well, are available. So for cleaning up the data, which is all, Power Query is also called the ETL process, which is the extract, transform, and loading. And that's a fantastic tool, which just record all your steps, and the next time when you do the when you just click on refresh, and then all those stored steps will repeat again, and in very less time you will get the clean data. So that's the step number 4 in the data analysis process. The fifth is, once you clean the data, you need to step ahead from cleaning the data, from analyzing the data and mining the data. So you extract, you analyze, you identify, you correlate the data with the help of DAX. So as we use functions in Excel, so you have to learn about the data analysis expressions, that is DAX, a very good language about the analysis. Or if you are using Power Pivot in Excel, so you might be familiar about how to use DAX. So this is the fifth step. And the last step is that once you have analyzed the data, once you have correlated the data, then you just start dragging it into different visuals and draw a good, nice, and colorful visuals on your canvas. So the last point is, you interpret your results and present your findings. So you start with a problem and you follow all these steps, and you are just presenting your findings, and you are going for a desired result, or you are presenting your results, and then that's how you communicate with the senior management to go for a decisions. So most of you have wrote in the chat window that we do data analysis for decision making and business decisions or interpretations. So that's what you were saying that is on slide right now. That is the point number 6, right? So these are all important points. We need to make sure that if this is related to our problem, definitely we can go ahead with some BI tool. Okay, so the types of data, you can get different types of data. Sometimes it's a structured data, it's a semi-structured data, or an unstructured data. So let's understand what is structured data. So structured data has a well-defined structures or adheres to a specified data model, can be stored in a well-defined schema such as databases, and in many cases can be represented in a tabular manner with rows and columns. So as an Excel user, you know that you have some files available in a folder where you have some this kind of a data where you have different columns, and all the records are in each of the row, right? So this is a kind of a structured data. So luckily, if your organization is giving you this kind of a data, it would be very helpful you to get that data into the Power BI and start creating dashboards. But if you get semi-structured data or unstructured data, definitely you will have a tough time to definitely synchronize and clean it before you put into the dashboard. So semi-structured data, semi-structured data is the data that has some organizational properties but lacks a fixed or rigid schema. So this is one of the example of a semi-structured data, and which is not stored in the forms of rows and columns. And the last is unstructured data. So as we have discussed that unstructured data can come from any different kind of sources, like web pages, video and audio files, media logs, images in varied file formats, social media feeds, PDF files, PowerPoint presentations. So there can be any different kind of a variety with respect to the unstructured data. All right. So there are two kind of mainly data sources, internal sources and external sources. So a very common example of internal sources that most of the organizations use is SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, right, for the relational databases. And for the external sources, sometimes we need the market information, just like stock exchanges or weather information or money market information. So there are definitely external sources are also available, which we sometimes are required to put in our dashboards as well. So the primarily and the most important thing is the quality of the data. That's very important to understand, and there are three key important parts are there. So data inspection, cleaning of the data, and the data verification. Okay, so the data cleaning. So it's the most important part, because 80% of your time will be consumed in making a connection to the data source with the Power BI, and then bringing that data where all kind of a data is not necessary for you to get analyzed. So there are some different kind of factors will be available for you to make sure that you clean the data in a good way. So there might be a possible that you have some missing values, right? So you got the data but you have some missing values. Now how you decide that what kind of strategy you want to take, either to repeat that number, last number, or to take the average, or you just want to ignore that particular missing line. Okay, so that's depends on your strategy. Then another, you sometimes have the duplicate data where you need to duplicate data on your dashboards. Sometimes we face the challenge of data type conversions and formats. We need to transform them in Power Query, right? So that's very important, because we get the data but it's not in a proper type conversion formats, right? So sometimes you will get the syntax errors, and you need to clean that before you put your data on your dashboards. Irrelevant data and the outdated data can be removed with respect to the data cleaning. Okay. So there are different kind of analytics which we can do in Power BI, and these are not just four. We can go ahead with more than four as well, but these are some of the primary, and you can consider them as a most common type of analytics. The first one is descriptive analytics, which provides essential insights into the past events. Then you can do the diagnostic analysis. So it's digs deeper to find the cause of the outcome. Predictive analytics. So based on historical data, you try to have a trend, or you try to predict the future outcomes based on some certain that analyze the environment to make decisions. So in today's session, we be doing some descriptive analytics. We will have last 5 years financial statement, that is profit and loss statement of Microsoft, where we will be putting that into the Power BI to make a dashboard. All right. So now let's come to the part of Power BI. We have so far in this session, we have covered introduction to data analytics, and then some of the advanced concepts of data analytics. And now we are discussing that how to get start with Power BI. So if you are very new, or if you are already using Power BI, you need to consider this mechanism. You need to understand that how this application works. So it has three parts. The first one is when you connect to the data source, either the data is coming from website or any, or the Excel files or Access files or any other software. First, you need to clean and automate the data. So that will be done with the help of Power Query. Once you clean the data, you will definitely switch to the next step, which is the analysis part. That could be done with the help of writing DAX in the explicit measures, right? And then the last part is to visualize all those key fields into your canvas. So that is the visualization pane in the Microsoft Power BI. So the first part is to clean the data. With the help of Power Query, we try to select from multiple Excel files. We try to apply the technique of appending. We have different kind of joins we can do with the help of Power Query. Then the second part is for the analysis part, and the third part is the Power BI main white screen, which is called the canvas, where we can create stunning and interactive visualizations, right? Okay, so there are four main pillars of the Power BI suite. We need to understand that. The first one is the Power Query, where we transform the data. The second one is we build model. So it's depend, either you are creating the star schema, snowflake schema, or a galaxy star consolidation. But primarily, most of the users start with the star schema, where they have the fact table and the dimension table, and they create relationships one to many by default, and then they start writing DAX and then putting it into the visuals or reports in the Power BI. So you start with Power Query, then you go to the model, and then you create some Power BI reports, and then you publish your reports on your cloud account. And that's depends that either you have a premium account or a pro account or a free account. Okay. All right. This is one of the important slide, and you can see that on the premises, and you just fetch all the data through Power Query and data model, and that says that 80% of your time will be go in the development process, and the 20% will be go in the interface of creating the visuals. Either you create that in Excel workbooks, or you create in Power BI as in reports or dashboards. So it's very important, and definitely it's an important point that 80% of your time goes in Power Query and data modeling. So definitely that's the important part you need to learn when you want to start your journey with the Power BI. All right, I have some contribution with the help of Appsource. So in Pakistan, we have one institution that is called the Institute of Bankers Pakistan. This is the centralized institutions where they provide banking some rules and regulations, and they monitor and they provide some good qualifications regarding the banking sector. So for that institution in Pakistan, I wrote two articles, and they are published, and the link is given. So I will share with the Faraz, and he will definitely forward it to you all. So you can download this article, business intelligence in banking. So if you belong to a banking sector, so how this business intelligence is reshaping the banking industry, banking sector. And I have also written one more article which is published in the next version of this journal, that is the Institute of Bankers Pakistan. It's related to the analytics using Microsoft Power BI for banking sector. So if you are still not from the banking sector, no worries, but you can go with the information available in this article, so that will make your broader perspective that how much has analytical power in the Power BI in this application, right? Okay. All right. So this is a short preview of one of the report.
I have all my sheets like this, Raheem.
Yeah. I still remember that when I started my first job as a banker in Pakistan. So we used to create this kind of reports, and we called those reports profit and loss and balance sheet and the key reports, where we have a description on the left side, then we have actual numbers, budget numbers, variance time factors columns, just like month on month comparison, year on year comparison. So if you can recall, so this is an image of 10 years ago. So in 2009 and 2010, as a banker, I used to create this kind of MIS reports for my management. But now we are in 2021, and the same report can be visualized in a different way, because these black and white numbers are not much making any difference in terms of decisions, right? So we want these kind of visualized reports. The data will be same, right? But now the trends has been changed with in terms of reporting. So we have a lot of tools, and one of them which we are discussing in today's session, that is Power BI. So very quickly we can create these kind of awesome visuals on our financial data. So now you can see the difference 10 years ago, back in 2009 and 10, what we were doing. And I can also admit that in this passage of time, in even in 2020 and 21, some of the organizations are still recorded financial reports, but the practice has been changed for those organizations who have moved forward, and they like to have a change, and change in their culture and change in their technologies. So they have moved awesome dashboards, right? So there is last 10 years with respect to the financial reporting, right? Okay. So just give me and let me get back to the Power BI. All right. So now we are entering into the practical go in a more interesting way, and so you can also contribute what you think about this application as well. So let's start the practical exercise, and I will take the data from one of the website. And first let me show you. Okay, so this is a website which is macro trend. This is a Microsoft income statement from 2005 till 2021, right? And you can see that you have the income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, key financial ratios. So when you click on any of the reporting type, you will get the data here refreshed. So you have different kind of formats also available: format annual, format quarterly. So we will go with the annual format, and we will try to bring this website data into the Power BI, and then we will put only last 5 years data, and we will create a dashboard. So let me just copy this URL, and I will go to the Power BI. Okay, so within the Power BI, you have to click on Get Data and you have to select Web option, and it will take some few seconds to load that dialog window where I can paste that URL to fetch the data from a website. So, okay, so now it's visible, right? And I will paste that URL. All right, so with if I ask from you that how many of you are already using Power BI, so write in the chat window yes or no. Or if you are watching this session on YouTube, so you can write in the chat window yes or no, so that I can have an idea that how many participants already using Power BI. Okay, so we have Kristen is using yes, Oakley is daily. Oh, amazing, great. Vikas, yes. Sifat is saying no. Primary user, you know that the Power BI desktop, download it and you can install and start using it because it's free. But if you go with the Tableau, it's a paid version. So let's just wait for a few seconds. Let the data. All right, so now you can see there is a table one which is available on the website. So I will just check mark that. And we can see the preview as well. So I will click on load button to load this data into the Power BI. Is saying I'm using it since it was called Power BI Designer and I had a green logo. Okay. All right. Seconds so that the data gets load, and then we will start creating some visuals in this canvas. Okay, so are the Power Apps included in Office 365 subscription or they are separate? I think Faraj can answer that. If this is included in 365, I guess depends on the subscription version as well. Okay, so now we got the data, which is the table one, and you can see on the right side, there is a fields pane where you can see column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are no names of the columns and also the table. So we can rename by going to the Power Query. So we will go into the Power Query and let's transforming the data. So for transforming the data, which is the Power Query part, so I will go to the home tab where you will find the transform data option available. And when you click on that, so a new window will open in few seconds. That is the Power Query editor where you can transform your data. All right, so now you can see here you have some you have the data available. So what we can do is first we will rename the headers. So it's very easy, just double click and give a neat and nice name to it. So first column is the description, the second column is 2020, third one is 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, and this column we don't want, so we can simply remove that column. We also need to just remove all the blank rows which the data is not there. So I will just exclude the other income, income from discontinued operations, income and expenses. So I will just open this filter menu, and from here, income from discontinued operations. We don't want that. Other income, and one more, other operating income or expenses. All right. Now also we need to make sure that we have a correct formatting of this column. So as you can see on this column top left side, a small icon of ABC is being written. So this is basically a formatting option available of for each of the columns, so we can change that. So we need to define this particular column as a whole number, not the text values. So I will just click on as in whole numbers. Okay. All right. So once we are done with the transformation of our data set, what next part is to just close and apply. And it's very simple. On the home tab, you have to click on close and apply. So you will get back to the Power BI. And in next few seconds, you will see that the new header names. Okay. And if you go to the data preview with data part, so you can preview this table as well. Right, and this is the model part where we just have one fact table. So if you are already using Power BI, you know about the star schema and snowflake schema. So some of the users, I hope that they understand that there is only one table and we don't need to create some dimension tables or relationship. But primarily when we want to do some advanced analytics, we always come with the schemas, and the most common is the star schema. So we have just one table, so we don't need to take care about the schema things. So the users who are very new to this session, don't worry about, we are not discussing any kind of a schema here. We just have one straight table where we have the description and the year wise number. So we will start placing that into this canvas. Before that, I will start with inserting a logo. So the logo is available on my in my folder. It's very easy to insert that image. So I will go to insert and I will click on image. Okay, so that's open a window, and here I have that logo available. For us, can you confirm if everything is up to the normalized part? My audio, my screen is visible. I
Yes,
hope.
everything is fine.
Okay,
Screen
thank
is
you.
visible.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we have logo from Google Images, so it's very easy to find that, right? And let's insert a text box to give a good header. So definitely the text box is also available in the insert tab. So as I told you that whenever the Microsoft introduces a new application, it's definitely focuses on graphical user interface. So the interface of this application is also just similar kind of, you use Excel, Word or PowerPoint. So you have different ribbons and you have features available, right? So let me just write a good header for this report. Let's call this as income statement 5 years, Microsoft income statement 5 years, right? And you can just increase the font size. That's very easy. You can make it a bold or change the alignment, make it a bit center. You can increase the font size from here, and you can just drag this more options and drop this object on your canvas, right? Okay. Another important thing which I want you to understand as a new user of Power BI is make sure that you use the latest version. And for that, if you want to check that which kind of version you are using, you can anytime go to the help and click on about, where you can see that I'm using March 2021 version, desktop version, which is of 64-bit. So I will also share that download link of this application. So the new users who are there in our today's session can easily download and start using it. And also one very important thing is that whatever the new features which are available in the latest versions of Power BI, you make sure that you have enabled all those. And every time I heard this kind of a questions from many forums that they don't find that particular option. Still they have the latest version, but they are not able to use that option because there is one reason. Whenever you download and install this Power BI latest version, you have to go to File tab, click on Options and Settings, and go to the options. So a option dialog window will appear, and you need to enable all those latest features from there. So you have to go to Preview Features, and now you can see here that all the latest features, just like smart narrative or anomaly detection, small multiples, Azure maps, you need to make sure that it's check marked and you have click OK, so that they will be enabled. Okay. All right. So now what we are required to do is we need to definitely create a dashboard, and first we will have a very basic table. So table is available in the visualizations area. So I will click on table, and a blank object of table will appear on my this canvas, and I will just simply drag and drop those fields, and it will start populating those numbers here. Okay, so there is a question that what is a smart narrative? Smart narrative is basically very interesting feature which writes some sentences for you according to that visual. So for example, if you are a data analyst or a business analyst and you come up with a visual which is a column chart or a line chart based on some months, so your boss says that give me some descriptive sentences about that visual. So you primarily what we do as a human, we start writing that particular sentences by our own, right? But this time the smart narratives, this this intelligence systems makes automatically sentences for you with respect to that particular visual. So that's a very cool feature available in the latest versions, right? All right, so let's get back to my this table area, and I will just drag and drop the fields here. So now you can see here, I have just dragged the description, and you can see all those description of income statement items are coming here, like gross profit, revenue, basic EPS. And what I will do is dragging 2020 first, then 19, right? Then 18, 17, and 16. Now, let me ask a question from you, and let's see how many are actively listening to this session. So first I will change the window, and I hope that okay, so I hope that Chrome browser is now visible. So you can see here the income statement, which is profit and loss statement, which is available on this website. It start from revenue, then cost of goods sold, gross profit, and then expenses, operating income, then net income, right? And then at last earning per share. This is the format of P&L, which is starting and ending point. But what happens that when I just drag these description on my Power BI, it's starting with alphabet B, C, D, E, and it goes till T. Now here the sorting which Power BI is doing is the alphabetical sorting. Whereas we know that our P&L should start from revenue, or that's in chronological order, that is in our own customized order. So any one of you can give me a feedback that what could be the right treatment for making the flow of your line item descriptions in a similar way which we create income statement in general. Because here the Power BI is started sorted that income statement into A to Z alphabetical sorting, which is definitely not correct. We don't want that kind of sorting, right? So what could be the best fit solution for that? Any one of you who can just give me as an response in the chat window so that I can read it out. So Gaurav says identity column in Power Query. Okay. Christian says add IDs to first column and sort by. Okay, so you say that assigning a number to each of the line item. For example, if I want revenue at the top, so I will assign 1 to the revenue, and then 2 to the cost of goods sold, then 3 to the gross profit. Like, yeah, some kind of indexing or column index number. Yes. So it could be very good, very good responses in the chat window. I like that. So definitely, it could be a different strategy. Either you can go in Power Query and you add one column which gives you number accordingly to your line item. And there is one more strategy that you can add one dimension table as well. You can add one dimension table where in that dimension table you have one column of serial number and the other column is of description, and then you can sort that as well, right? Yes, so Zebra BI has a special feature to assign one has. Yes, very good. So what I will do is I will bring that dimension table, which I have already prepared. So I will click on Excel and I will say that I want that file. So we have that table name, which is called description dimension table. So now you can see the preview here. We have two columns, description number and the description itself. So we will say load this data into the Power BI. And what we will do, the next thing we need to do is to create a relationship. So now the modeling part comes in, right? So either I can go in Power Query, and if my Power Query is very good, if I know something good things about Power Query, I can do some indexing there. But if I don't know that, but still I can, as now you can see in the model, we have one description column, right? Which is being tagging from description to description. And we will say that one to many relationship. And I will not use this description from the fact table now, whereas I will be using the dimension table, right? But one thing is still there, that it's still not sorted. So what I will do is I will go to data tab, and I will click on dimension table. So I will select this description column, and in the column tools you can see there is a feature called sort by column. So I will say that sort this particular column with respect to the description number. So on the back end, every description item has been assigned a number. So this is our customized number assigned. And if we go to the canvas again, so now you can see here the revenue is coming on top, then cost of goods sold on the second, and then gross profit on third position, right? So we have done our chronological order rather than the alphabetical order. And formatting, it's very easy in the Power BI. You have a formatting area. This is a kind of a brush and you can scroll down to change the column header size. So let's see if we make it to the 14, and we can change the list of values, right? Okay. All right. So one more thing is you can observe here is that it's not in a comma formatting. So I can go to the table, the data tab, and what I can do is I can select the column and I can start clicking on this comma formatting so that it should be in a good, meaningful way, readable way. I will come to your technical questions as well. Don't worry about it. But I hope so far you are understanding that how you can address these kind of issues. When you need a chronological order, you need a one helper column of numbers where you can just sort that particular field. That's the important point to note. Right. Okay. Next visual which we will be using in our this dashboard is a KPI. So KPI visual is also available in the visualizations pane. You can just click on the KPI and you just have to drag and drop the fields which you want here. So let's say we want to have uh, we want to see the revenue of current year, which is 2020, with respect to the last year 2019. So I will drag this description and then I will drag the 2020, then 2019 in the target goals, and I will open this filter menu where I will filter only the revenue, not all the fields. So I will just type the revenue, and now you can see here you got the revenue number of 2020, which is 143015, that are in millions. And this is not a goal, so we can just change the header. Instead of goal, we can write, let's say, previous year, right? And we can increase the text size as well, right? So you can now imagine that these things are very easy in doing in Power BI as compared to Excel, whereas you have to write some formulas, specific formulas in Excel for doing that, but it's just a matter of dragging and dropping in the Power BI canvas. But most of your time definitely goes in the making a strategy of connecting the data sources and then doing cleaning up that in Power Query and then analyzing using the DAX for more complex dashboards, right? Okay. So for the title, if you don't want the title or if you want to rename the title, you can do it just by renaming it. So it says revenue 2020 19, and let's change the alignment of this title and also the size. And we can just resize this and we can just drag and drop this on our canvas wherever we need. I mean, whatever the area you need to have all those important key performance indicators, right? All right, so once we have created of revenue, we can also just copy this particular visual. So it's very easy, right click, copy visual, and just control C or control V to do that. And we have another visual KPI is available. And this time we will open a filter menu, and in the description, let's say we don't want revenue this time. We want, let's say, net income, right? So you have just inserted a net income and make sure that you rename the title as well. All right. Now let's insert one visual from the app source. Okay. So the ones who are already using Power BI, they might know that you can Sign up if you are using for the very first time your cloud account. You have to sign up from Microsoft Power BI website, and once you have that, because it Microsoft Cloud account will not understand your signing up process from your Hotmail ID or Gmail or Yahoo ID. It always need a official email address to sign up for your cloud account, and the cloud account is absolutely free until unless you have a premium account. So what I have done is I have signed in from my email address, which is dashboards.powerbi@excelbasement.org, and I can access to the app source. And now there are more than 250 plus visuals available in app source. So I will use one of the visual for this dashboard. All right. So there are different kind of categories available where you can go for the gauge charts or data visualization visuals or KPIs, maps as well. So there are a lot of visuals available. I will go with the Zebra BI just to make sure that I can give you a demo. Okay, it says okay, so I will use this Zebra BI tables, and for that I just need to click on add button so that this visual should add on my visualizations area. I have also recorded a separate video in detail where you can explore the Zebra BI capability, because it's definitely changing the way you create financial reports in Excel as compared to the Power BI. And I will also let you through their website as well, where you can download free Power BI files on different kind of financial analysis. So it's very easy. For the very first time, you will get the free trial period for certain days. I guess it's 30 or 45 days. This definitely visual needs to purchase, and that's depend on the number of licenses you want to have. So far we can just try it out as a demo purpose in this particular dashboard for this session. So what I can do is I can just drag the description into the category, and 2020 in the values, 2019 in the previous year. And now you can see that just by dragging and dropping, all kind of things are being now placed properly, and we can visualize in a different way. Rather we were doing it in a traditional reporting form. And let me show you the final version of this dashboard as well. Right, so this is the final version of this dashboard. So in this dashboard, I have done some more formatting as well. And I have also inserted this column charts. You can say income taxes, operating expenses, and research and development. Right. So you can do that as well, but it's all depend on how you have made your data, right? And which kind of appropriate visuals you can use. Now let me take you towards this exploration of different kind of dashboards, some more advanced dashboards. Okay, so this is the link, that is zebrabi.com/pbix, where you can see a lot of information regarding the advanced financial analytics dashboard. So if you're doing some retail analysis, you can come up with this kind of very awesome good visuals dashboards around. If you are doing something with respect to sales dashboards with some DAX tricks. So you can create this kind of dashboards, and these templates are available. You can download them. Income statements, and if you are doing price volume mix variance analysis, consolidated financials, right? So these are super cool, super awesome dashboards you can explore. And just give me a minute so that I can proceed towards another part. Okay, so I have look around in the chat window. We have some questions as well, and definitely I will give answers for the questions which I know, and for the questions which will be remaining from my side, definitely I will put them in the YouTube link. So basically, Faraz has also created a YouTube video link for this session as well. So I will write that in comments in more detail so that you can just go through that as well. So you need to give me 1 day or 2 day of time so that I can find out the actual solution for you according to your questions. But for those general questions, definitely I will come back to after completing my agenda for today's session, right? So I hope you like this link as well. As a user of financial analysis, you can do these kind of dashboards in Power BI. All right. So far we were discussing about we have so far created one dashboard which was related to getting data from a website of Microsoft financial statement, and we look at some of the issues as well as we went through Appsource as well. And we know that the trend is being changing of reporting, and we are no more like the traditional reports where we need some good visuals around us. Now this is the exciting part of our today's session as well. So a practical case study, a financial report, or you can say a challenge for the attendees, and you need to solve this. So there is no deadline for solving this case study. What you can do is you can just send your answers to Faraz, or you can just write your solutions in the YouTube session in the comment area. Okay, and you can put your solutions. I will give you the file as well, and let me share the files downloading link as well with you all. Just give me a minute. And the challenge is very interesting. You will like it. And I would like to encourage you and motivate you that please do uh, solve this. It will increase your learning. So let me quickly give you the link for downloading all the files as well. Okay, so I would like to have your attention in the chat window. I am just copying and pasting one link there. And this link is all only available for next 7 days because it's a link of WeTransfer. So WeTransfer allows you to keep files on their servers for just 7 days. So make sure that you download that. And I hope Faraz has also got this link in the chat window. So Faraz, you can download the files and make sure that it is available after the session for all the ones who have not joined us today and the uh, members of YouTube who will watch later on. Right. So just acknowledge me in the chat window if you have got the link so that I can proceed with the
Yeah,
session.
Rahim, we have got the link,
Yeah,
and I'm going
great.
to create a separate link, with the
Huh.
OneDrive, and I'll keep it on the this video chat, on the description,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
everybody can access.
Perfect. 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 Done. Okay. So let me just come back to the presentation and the challenge part. Let me show you what the challenge is. Okay, so just couple of more seconds so that my Excel should start working, and then I will share one of the issue, and the report is also available. So just give me a minute to make sure that everything is working. Okay, Faraz, can you confirm me if my Excel application is visible?
Yes,
Yes,
Raheem.
yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so now we are proceeding towards the challenge part. And if you seriously done this challenge, you will be quite enjoying that the report which I have shared with you is something a real-time report of a kind of one of the bank, which is the management information systems, where they try to extract the report from Oracle software, and they have these kind of challenges. So in this session, you are learning one absolute, one awesome case study where if you have put your efforts into this challenge, you will be able to make some super cool dashboards in Power BI. So let's get start. Let me show you that what this query is all about. So let's say if there is a bank. Okay, my Excel is working very slow. I think I've opened a lot of applications today. Never mind.
A lot of
So there,
ads over there. I think that's the reason. Might be that.
uh, yeah.
See, you have some lot of powerful tools.
Exactly. That happens in live. We can exclude that in recording, but it's a part of. Okay, so there is a bank called, for example, Faraz and Raheem Limited. Okay, and this bank is using a software, let's say Oracle, right? And how the reporting is basically done with in this organization is that on very top, let's say you have a uh, statement, right? You extracted an statement from statement which is expended by CRC. Let me explain you. CRC is cost revenue center. Okay, so CRC is cost revenue center. And how cost revenue center builds, let me give you an idea. So for example, if a bank has head office and it has some branches. So let's say there are 1000 branches in Pakistan and its head office. So head office is the cost center. So all the employees who are working in the head office, they are part of the cost center because they are not making any kind of revenue. They are for the reporting purpose or they are for the administration purpose. Whereas in the branches has different businesses like consumer business where they issue credit cards, debit cards, car loans, home loans, and they generate business and they generate the revenue, right? And in one particular business, there are some departments, right? So how CRC forms, for example, for a finance, if I am working in a head office, so I will write HO, okay? And the business is finance, so I will write a short form as fin, and the department is 85. So CRC contains the location, the business, and the department combination. right? And also, you know that whatever the software you use, either it's an Oracle or SAP, right? The very basic foundation is basically chart of accounts, which you define on the back end. And there are some GL codes or the SL codes, journal codes or sub ledger codes, which are assigned to make sure that when you pass the journal entry, so it records in the system and it's create a report for you, either it's a balance sheet or PNL, right? And when you say that we have a profit and loss statement and we want to do some analysis out of that report, so we need to expand it from all the business perspective. We need cost centers, we need business, and we need departments. So I need an expanded report, right? So let me show you that from the system, we extracted this particular column. Okay, now this is one of the very basic report. I will show you the real-time report as well. But you to have to take an idea. Okay, so this report starts from interest receive and it expands, and this interest receive is expanded by SL wise, region, business, and department. So we can say that in the interest on the back end of the interest receive line, we have a chart of accounts where we have defined the mapping, and this mapping has been allocated by region wise, by business wise, and a department wise. So AE considered as a UAE, BH considered as Bahrain. So basically, our some of the branches are in overseas and some of them are locally. Then we have a one more line in the income statement, that is provision journal. This is also expanded SL wise and region wise, business wise, department wise. Then gain on sale of securities, dividend income. So we have one expanded report. Now this is very small report. Let me show you one practical report. Now what I need all my participants today available in this session is that don't use Excel formulas or functions. Either you can use Power Query in Excel, or you can use Power Query within Power BI application environment, but you have to solve this with the PQ, Power Query. How the solution will look like, let me show you. This is the solution. So what you need to do is, now this was your one main column of the report which you extracted from the Oracle. And what you need to do is you need to separate the department in one separate column, business in one separate column, location in a separate column, sub ledgers in a separate column. And also this particular part is very technical. You need to repeat that line of interest received in front of every SL codes. And when the new header comes, so the new headers will repeat again until the new line starts. For example, this third line is gain on sale or loss on sale of securities. So basically it's a part of this particular header. Then the dividend income. So the dividend income will repeat until the next line item of P&L would starts, right? So you need, what you need to do is you have this particular data, first column, and you need to transform them into this exactly same way, not using the Excel functions, but using the Power Query. And that's the interesting part. The most interesting part is that how you make this particular column from this column, because these are very easy. You can just right click and go to Power Query and split column by a delimiter, which is the space. But this column is a tricky part. And I want you to learn that, because once you learn that, you will have a very much awesome features exploring in the Power Query. Now let me show you one more practical report which I have given you already in the link. So just give me a minute. Let me share that report as well so that you can understand what exactly you need to do. Okay, so you have a file which is called B2 Bank March 12 expanded by company and SLY. So let me open that. It's a big file. It's a 22 MB file. So it will take 1 more minute. Okay. All right. So now, as you can see here, we extracted this profit and loss statement from a system, right, where we have a column such as the period to date actual for the month of February, period to date actual for the month of March. Then we have the budget column, variance column, and then we have some different time periods like year to date. So the last same period last year, same period last year, budget, right, and the variance and current run rate. So this is extracted by the system, uh, and what we got is we got one column here, which is the combo, where we have extracted the report, expanded report, where we have the SL codes and business and departments. And what I did is I just solved this in Excel, right? So first I created some functions like left value is number, trim function, VLOOKUP, and if, right? So we know that how to use these kind of functions, but we want to go further. We want to understand a perception regarding the data modeling, and we need to solve this with the help of Power Query. So you need to solve this particular report. This one column you need to transform into this part. Okay. And there is also one table is available, and this particular table has another column, which is the source column. For the chronological order, we have defined some numbers and their main headers. So which kind of line items are fall into the income, and what are those line items which are related to the expenses, and then further category into the expenses. So these are personal expenses, premises expenses, variable expenses, right? So you need to do this kind of activity. You need to do this. You need to solve this challenge. Let me show you one more report, which is another very exciting report. And these are real-time challenges. So I hope you will like this. So just give me a minute. Let this report open. It's a 27 MB file. So it will take a minute. All right, so this is the report. Now you can see here, we have this report like period to date actual column, September, then period to date actual October column, forecasting column, variance columns, year to date. And we use Power Query to transform this first column, in which we have the line item, which is expanded by GL codes and SL codes and business departments. And we need to transform that into this way. So all these columns are coming as a separate part, and we need to transform them as in Power Query, right? Not with the Excel functions. So you need to transform this particular column into these way. And some of the columns are coming from the other sheet, which are the lookups. So description file is available where you can do some lookups as well. But you need to use lookup strategy again as in data modeling concept, and in the Power BI, it's very different as compared to, because in Excel we can use VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP, but in Power BI it's different, right? And you need to transform them. Finally, the final layout of this particular report is will be the pivot which I have created in Excel. You need to create this into the Power BI, and that will be the key learning curve which will make you learn more as a data analyst or business analyst, that how to handle the data challenges when it comes to the BI, not with an Excel, right? So this is a practical scenario case study for you all. and I hope you will like this. And I will set a trend for my next webinars, that every time when I will come to the webinars, I will bring one industry big challenge, and I want you to learn that how to resolve these things with the model Excel BI tools or Power BI. Let's come to the presentation part, and that will be the final concluding part, and then we will go for the your question and answers. All right, so I have discussed the case study of one financial report, and this is a kind of a homework for you. So there is no deadline to it. You can do it. Now the learning resources. So if you are more interested to make sure that you become a good intermediate or advanced users for the Power BI, you start learning Power BI from these platforms, because I was just going through the chat window and you have asked some of the technical questions. So definitely technical questions requires a good discussion and a very longer discussions, which is quite not possible in this kind of webinars. But definitely I would like to give a detailed answer to the Faraz, and then he will circulate that email. uh, but all your technical questions definitely can be resolved with this platform. The first one is Microsoft Learn. It's one of the very good website which I explored, and I personally learning from this website. So there are some modules available, some very good awesome topics available regarding the Power BI. The next one is my channel. You are all welcome to subscribe my channel on YouTube. That is Excel Basement, and you can go in the playlist of Power BI with Raheem Zulfikar Ali, where we have now more than 60, 70 videos on Power BI. So you can start learning and exploring all those good features available in BI tools. Another good channel which I like most, and I also follow that, is a Guy in a Cube. And another channel you can subscribe for Avi saying Power BI Pro. Then there are two more channels. Kurbal, it's one of the most fantastic to follow about the DAX. Now she has uploaded more than 200 plus DAX videos, and I used to learn from this channel as well. And I want my participants to start subscribing and learning from these awesome channels. Then there is one more channel, that is Enterprise DNA. You can go ahead with that. Then we have fantastic Power Query stuff available on Excel on Fire, which is by Oz. Amazing work has been done regarding with the data transformation and cleaning up on this channel. And then definitely Faraz, one of the wonderful person, Excel Exciting. He has a channel on YouTube, Faraz Sheikh. So you can explore some Power Query related stuff there as well. So if you start with the data modeling, you can start with a free course from sqlbi.com, sqlbi.com, where you can learn some good concepts about the data modeling. Because as I told you that it is not a familiar application or same kind of application as compared to the Excel, it's a very different platform. And if you want to do some analysis, so you need to learn the DAX, which is the data analysis expressions language. So you can start with a free course, Ultimate Beginner's Guide to DAX, which is by the Enterprise DNA. Regarding our social or digital presence, you can go ahead and start reading some good articles related to Power BI or Excel on our blog. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are also available on Facebook, and we upload some weekly tips and tricks and updates from the Microsoft platform. We are also available on Instagram. You can add us there as well. So I would like to thank you for each and every one of you who attended the session live today, and all of those who will be watching the recording. And especially thanks to Faraz for giving me a time. And I think it's a very long, long time I have taken for this specific webinar. I have so many things for you guys, but definitely we have stuck to one subject matter and one small part of the Power BI. I hope that you love this session today. And for your more technical questions, I would be posting my answers on the YouTube commenting box, so you can go ahead and have that responses. You can check that. Whereas if you have some general questions or you would like to have some queries, so let's go to the question and answer session, and that's over to you for us.
Thank you, Raheem. Thank you so much for the wonderful session, in-depth knowledge about the Power BI data, the importance of the data. As you rightly said, that data is considered as next oil, and I would say data speak louder than word.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so the time has changed, saying action speaks louder than word. Now we say data speaks louder than word.
Mm.
So it was really great to have you. I was just checking some chats over here. I'm following on the YouTube. Nabil Murad was here and he just said he dropped in and he just said hi.
Okay.
And Wayne has said hi to you. And there are some questions also. And as you said that you'll take care of the questions in the comment chat. And if anybody has any question, you can please feel free to ask Raheem. Any general questions, anything?
Currently, the Pakistan is
Mine is India.
my is
Okay.
Pakistan.
Okay, there is a question came in the chat. What is your favorite cricket team? So,
Yeah.
Hey,
So
it'd be weird if I didn't go off on a tangent for us.
okay, great. So, any last words, Raheem, for the YouTube before we end the live session on the YouTube? Any message for the friends?
yeah, definitely. Every time when I come to your platform, it's a good session. Always, your audience is very engaging, and I love the way you are working.
Thank you.
And I hope from my this small contribution, people would get a lot of benefit in starting their journey with this BI tool. And I hope that they will make sure that they will bring a change in their organizations by developing more good, awesome dashboards and reports where we were using that traditional reports, and they are no longer for use. So I wish all each and every participant all the very best in their careers and with the approach of this BI application. Thank you.
Thank you. By the way, Rahim was the first speaker today. I forgot to mention in the beginning. I'm really sorry, Rahim, that he's the first speaker today talking about Power Platform. So we started with Excel, and he's the first speaker talking about Power Platform. And it's a really pleasure to have you, Rahim, and everybody over here. Thank you for your time. So we'll be ending up the our live session from the YouTube, and we'll be still on the Zoom. So bye, YouTube. Take care.
Hey, for us.